Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make this paint themed cake. It's for my daughter's kinder teacher who loves art and painting. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I've got my equipment set out. I've got some fondant, some Tyler powder, which I'm going to mix in so that my fondant will harden. I've got, this is the size tin that I'm going to use to make my paint can mold. So I've got that. I've got some baking paper. We'll actually spray around that. I'll have to get a baking spray out. I've got a circle cutter that's the same size as the bottom of my tin, which I just got from my set of circle cutters, and that's about it. So I'm just going to roll out my fondant, add some Tylo to it, roll it out, and then wrap it around. Cut out a circle and then wrap the fondant around. Okay, I'm just going to use a bit of water, put some water around the side, and just give it a go assembling. This might be, I might need to leave this a few minutes before I assemble it. I'll just have a go and see how it goes. So I'm just going to, you can see here where it sort of meets. What I'm going to do is just kind of come down and cut. Oh, this jumper. Oops. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to, it's not going to matter too much. This is going to be sort of on the bottom of the cake anyway. Sort of going to leave that there. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to leave that overnight. I'm going to leave it overnight, and that should be hard by tomorrow, and then I can add the rest to it. So yeah, don't worry about that seam. You're not going to be able to see that. That's going to be flat on the cake. So just make sure I look at the top. I'll show you a look of what it looks like from the top. So you can just see here, I've got my baking paper there. It's my thing. It's just going to dry in a nice circular shape, and yeah, it should be dry in the morning. Okay, so I'm just making some sort of splotches of paint to go on the cake. I'm literally just grabbing little pieces of fondant. I haven't mixed any Tylo in with this, and I'm just sort of flattening it, stretching it out just to make a random sort of pattern, and then I'm just going to stick it on my cake. See. Once you sort of stuck it on, I've sort of just made a few, I'm just, using my finger to just kind of splosh it out a little bit more. I'm going to put some paint down here. You can see I'm using a mould. I've still got it in the freezer, using my First Impressions mould, which is in the freezer, to just put a white beaded border, which will go around both bits of the cake. The top tier is set back a little bit, so it's not perfectly in the center of the bottom tier, because I'm going to put, so it will go over this little bit of red actually. The bit of paint will be cascading sort of down the middle here. So look, I'm just going to do little splotches of paint all over, and then I'll show you what it looks like. This is the next day, and this is pretty much hardened. See, look, it looks pretty basic. It doesn't, and look, I think one of my daughters played with it. They won't tell me, and there's a little dent in it. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick that on top of my cake. I've still got to add some more little bits of paint, but I think I'm going to add like a paint palette sort of there. So I'm going to stick that on with a bit of water, and then I'm going to get some sort of grey to go around the tin. Okay, to make the palette, I've just got a bit of white fondant. I've added a bit of Tylo so that it becomes gum paste. I'm just adding a little bit of Americolor Ivory. I've added a bit, so I just quite like it. It gives a bit of a light browny colour if I add a certain amount in. So it's just kind of that colour. Now, I've only got a big rolling pin, so I'm going to slowly sort of roll that out. Just going to use a circle cutter, cut out a circle, and then I'm just going to, I sort of want a jelly bean shape. So I'm just going to sort of start stretching it out. You can use an oval cutter, I guess, if you have an oval cutter. And then I just want to sort of chop a bit out. So far it looks like that. Just sort of by stretching. I'm just going to sort of, just using my fingers, just change that, stretch it out a bit. Whoops. See how I've just sort of toned down that bit, and I'll sort of tone down this bit as well. I'll stretch out the bottom a bit. So it's looking a bit better. Right. So that's cool. I'm pretty happy with that. It's fine. So I'm just going to using another circle cutter at the top. Take a little bit off. That's what my shape looks like now. And then using sort of the same, actually I might go a bit bigger with my circle cutter. I'm just going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 of my colours. So I'm just going to get 4 colours. I'm going to stamp out a circle and just stick them on with a bit of water. Okay, so I've just rolled out some fondant. I've added Tylo to it. I was going to use my sugar shaper, but I don't have anything kind of long enough. It's sort of as even as I can get it. It's going to go around the rim here. So I'm just going to add a bit of water. And stretch that along. The coloured rainbow paint. I'm using my sugar shaper to squeeze out the colours, then I'm lightly wetting in between them. I've got to work really quickly. So I've rolled it out, stuck it together. I've got to work really quickly. I'm going to get my big rolling pin out and I'm going to gently roll it to flatten it. Okay, so see, it's nice and stuck together. Don't worry about the ends being a bit funny like that, that's fine. Now I'm gonna stick it in the middle of my cake. So I'm gonna stick this down. I'm totally experimenting here. I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm just gonna sort of wet the inside, wet around here. It's gonna go all over this red thing, but anyway, it's all right. Okay, and I'm sort of gonna roll, I can't quite, here's my thing. So here's the little messy bits at the top. I'm gonna just kind of roll them together because I need a bit of a, I'm gonna need something for that to go on. What I actually might do is I might just, this is just a massive clump of fondant. Look, there might be a better way of doing this, but I can't really think of it right now. Okay, so that's just a clump of fondant in there. Just to give it a bit of height. So I'll put some water on that. Oh, that's my dog. So you sort of want to create a bit of volume as you're going, a bit of texture so that it dries like that. And I'll sort of stick it down the bottom. You can see, so I'm pretty happy with that, except can you sort of see in there, you can see all the wispy bits. I'm just going to tidy that up. And then otherwise I'm pretty happy with that. Looking at that now, I'm thinking, look, it is just, it looks, I'm happy sort of with how it looks, but I'm just going to, it needs to be thicker bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-roll it out, which is so annoying, and make each colour a bit thicker. Okay, so I've got my cake just sitting here, a bit of toilet paper in there just to kind of keep it going. I'm sort of going to paint that rim silver. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that. I'm just going to use a luster dust if I do it. I've got my splodges of paint, and look, I'm just going to leave it at that to dry overnight. Okay, so this is the final product. I'm quite happy. Look, I was going to, I just didn't have the time today. If I did have more time, I would paint that rim with like a metal, like a silver. It's a bit sort of lumpy, but it will do. You can see how that all looks there. And it's just got little splotches of paint all around it and the border. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the tutorial.